Sometimes others ask me what led me into the field of politics, the field of public service. And when I think back, I can be pretty specific because I remember when we first considered this over 8 years ago. And my wife Rebecca and I talked about why would God want us involved and what was our vision for government and the purpose of government in His world. He took me to 1 Timothy chapter 2 and showed me something there that I don't think I had ever noticed in exactly the same framework before. It says, I exhort therefore that first of all supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. It says, for this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Savior. And then the next verse tells us why. Who will have all men to be saved, to come into the knowledge of the truth. And God really spoke to my heart clearly that day and affirmed that the purpose of government is to put in place an environment with a peaceful lifestyle, with godliness and with honesty, so that the gospel was free to do its work. I am convinced that God did not charge civil government with the responsibility of making the gospel known. I do not believe that that is my job as a state representative. I do believe that is my job as a Christian and as a member of a Christian church. And I believe that as a public servant, my job is to do everything I can to establish an environment where the gospel can propagate itself, where truth prevails. I often consider liberty in relationship to the Scriptures, because that's what our founders delivered to their descendants and then to us through generations, was liberty. Liberty that had never been seen in the same way before. But we didn't think up liberty, and they didn't think up liberty. God thought up liberty. He instituted it first of all in the garden, and then He restored it on the cross. He is the author of liberty. Our founders found a way, though, to institute a means of civil government that would not only protect that liberty, but that would also establish an environment where that liberty could be explained to others through the gospel of Jesus Christ. That is my vision for state government, is to look for those things that hinder the gospel and do everything I can in Jefferson City to remove them. I appreciate what you are doing in your personal faith, walk of faith, and I encourage you, by God's grace, to continue it.